Good day, viewers. Welcome to another episode on Hebzibah Show. And today I'll be talking on the topic intimacy. In my last video, I talked about the three basics of every relationship, which includes passion, intimacy, and commitment. And in this video, I'll be talking on intimacy. Now, what do we understand by the word intimacy? Intimacy is a process and the feeling of being in a close relationship with someone. It's a close affective connection with another as a result of a bond that is formed through the knowledge and experience of the other. Now, intimacy is not the kind of relationship you have with your friends or your relatives or neighbors. Intimacy is something that you have. It's a feeling. It's not just a thing. It's a feeling that you have with someone you're in a close relationship with. You have to be in a close relationship with someone before you can exercise that intimacy. And it's a process. It's not something that just appears. It's built. It takes time to build. And like I said, it's a process and a feeling. Now, there are three things that are involved in intimacy and that should be seen in every intimate relationship. The noun intimacy, the verb intimacy, and the adjective intimacy. Now, the noun intimacy is someone that you're in a close relationship with. That's the noun. The verb intimacy means to make known, the act of knowing the person you're in a close relationship with. And the adjective of intimacy is the knowledge of a person, the knowledge of that person. That is the adjective. These three things must be in every relationship, every intimate relationship, I repeat. And also, there are these three types of intimacy that I find very, very interesting. The physical type of intimacy, which is also the physics of relationship, the chemistry type of intimacy or the emotional intimacy, and the cognitive or intellectual intimacy, which is the social intimacy. Now, the physical type of intimacy, it's a type of intimacy that's built, like we understand, like I said, the physics of relationship. What do we understand by the word physics? Physics is gotten from an ancient Greek word, which means the search of matter. It's like it's the knowledge of nature. It is the knowledge of nature. It's that natural science that involves the study of matter. It's that natural part of you that wants to know your partner. How do you get to know your partner? By this physics of relationship. It involves the kissing, the hugging, the holding of hands, all these things, and some other sexual activities, even the sex. It's also a physical type of intimacy, and the physics, it's the part of you that wants to know your partner through this means. Now, if we're talking about the physical intimacy, I want to stress 3 points in physical intimacy. First is the relationship with sex, the relationship without sex, and distant relationships. Now, I'll start with the relationship without sex. And my case study today is this couple. They've been married for almost 2 years now, and they dated for 6 years. And the 6 years of their relationship, it was without sex. They did not have sex for that 6 years. So I tried talking to the husband, the man, because I know sometimes they always say, even if the woman decides to have a relationship without sex, if the man doesn't want it, it won't work. But well, the two of them decided to agree on that. So I decided to ask him, what was those 6 years like without sex? How did you cope? How were you people having this intimacy even in that 6 years without the sex? And he told me something. He said it wasn't easy. I will tell you, it wasn't easy. He said we set our grounds and we worked on it. He said right from when she agreed to date me, she told me that we're going to be having a relationship without sex, and because I love her and saw something more in her, I decided to accept for it. And I thought it was a joke when it all started, until a few years into the relationship, and even just weeks, I began to find it like it's unbearable. He told me, he said, but something kept us. He said the agreement I had with her, that helped me to hold my ground. He said that sacrifice was very important, that he had to sacrifice and exercise so much self-control. He said there were times that it feels like having it with her, you feel like having the sex, it feels like it gets horny at times, and those times he get to tell her that, see, I'm feeling horny right now and I'm not going to really be able to hold you or something, so we don't break this agreement we had with each other. And he said that was what really helped them going. So he was very transparent with her again. He said he always tells her everything when someone is trying to flirt with him, when someone is calling his, that sometimes even when he receives calls and maybe a girl is having a crush on him or someone is trying to flirt with him, he puts the call on a conference call so she can just hear everything. And you know, that really built the trust they had for each other and made their relationship to work. Like I said, he said they built this common ground. They set their boundaries and they worked by it. He said they weren't scared of having sex. That by the time they moved into the relationship, into 2 years, they were no longer scared of having sex because it was no longer their priority. The priority was knowing themselves, getting to know themselves. And they transited from dating into courtship, and then now today they are married. I'm sure we know that there's difference between dating and courting. I'll be talking about that also in my subsequent videos as it comes up. Now today they are married and they are fine. Okay, then the other one I want to talk about is the sex in relationship with sex. Now there's another case study, but I'm not going to be mentioning names. This lady, she happened to be like my friend, and she's very open to me. I've watched her over the years, and she tells me a lot too. She's presently in a relationship, and this time around she decided to work by the rules without sex. She told me, not because I'm trying to be all godly like as a Christian, but because I've tried other relationships with sex and it didn't work. That she always had this notion that relationship without sex, it cannot work. And her previous relationship, she had the sex, and in her first relationship she had sex and she got pregnant, she had abortion, and a few months after the abortion she had these problems and complications, and they found out that she had problems like ovarian cyst, problem with her ovary. Ovary is part of the female reproductive system that is responsible for producing the eggs that gets hatched by the sperm to produce the children, and one of her ovary had to be removed now. And then she had to just break up with that guy, not because her ovary was even removed, but later on she found that the guy impregnated another girl and he had to marry the girl, and that was how it ended. The second relationship, she found that the boyfriend likes sex so much, even when she's not there, even when she's having sex with him, he was still having it with some other girls. And she found out that it was going to be very difficult to have trust in this relationship, and she can't even bring it up to marriage because the relationship was not working. He was flirting with every other girl, and she had to break up. And this time around she made up her mind that this very relationship she's into, she's not going to have sex with them. Because if you're having sex in a relationship, I'm not here to criticize having sex in a relationship, but I want you to understand that you should know all the implications, the health implication, the guilt that the girl feels, that you feel as a girl and you as a guy, the unwanted pregnancy. So many people have become fathers and mothers today unplanned. Do you really plan marrying her, or because she got pregnant for you? Some infections that are usually gotten after the sex and all. So all these things should be put into consideration in your relationship before you make up your mind if you want to have sex in the relationship or not. Now, distant relationship, there's a friend of mine also that I'm going to use for case study. She dated her husband for 2 years and they were distant from each other, and today they are married, and their marriage, now this is the second year of their marriage, and they're still far apart. Okay, she's schooling, that's why, but how did it work? I asked her, how come you're able to trust him that is the very one you want to marry, despite the fact that you were dating and you were apart from each other? She told me some certain points that I want to buttress today. She said sacrifice is very important. First of all, you have to make up your mind and be ready and be committed that you want to date this person. She put her mind into it and she sacrificed a lot just to make it work. Now, she told me she had to sacrifice some of her male friends because her boyfriend then, her husband now, he was not comfortable with some male friends she had, and she had to sacrifice it just for him to trust her the more. She talked about trust. Trust is very important. She said, you cannot be saying that my guy is dating or is flirting out there or is cheating on me and I also want to cheat. Why don't you make up your mind not to cheat on your own, and then not caring about what he is doing out there? If you want to cheat because you feel he's cheating, which you're not even sure of, you might just be the one cheating at the end of the day and not even him cheating. And she was like, that also helped her also. And then she exercised self-control so much, and that also helped her with the relationship. And she told me transparency, that is very important. You have to tell him everything. Tell him exactly how you feel. Tell him when you really feel like holding him and having him there with you, because you guys are far from each other. You have to always tell him exactly how you feel. Tell him what you're going through. Don't hide anything from him. Your feelings, your pains, your hurts, times when you're sad, times when you're happy. Share your happy, share your excitements with him. And she told me something, that Skype call is very important. You have to always see your partner as often as you can. Communication is like a very, not just even in distant relationship, every relationship without communication, I tell you, it cannot, I repeat, it cannot work. Because without communication, you cannot build intimacy. Intimacy is strengthened in a relationship that there is strong communication. You have to always communicate with your partner, with your husband, with your boyfriend, your fiance. You have to always communicate. You have to always talk. I will talk about that in my social type of intimacy. Now, she said that communication helped them. Now, Skype call is a particular app that makes you to see your partner wherever he is in the world. She always, as often as she can, Skype with him, see him, talk with him, laugh with him, and gist with him. She said most times she doesn't even get the feeling that is far from her. And also, there's this team viewer she told me about. It allows you to have access into your partner's system. The both of them, they share this team viewer. She can log into his system at any time from where she is and see all the things happening in his system. And he can do likewise also. And sometimes he even logged into her system to watch her sleep at night. Isn't that sweet? He watches her as she sleeps, whatever she's doing in her room, because she directs the camera to her bedside. And you see, it makes the whole thing interesting, and it made their relationship work. And she really trusted him above every other man that wanted to marry her. Then she trusted him enough to commit herself in marriage to him. And this is their second year in their marriage, and it's been so sweet and working very fine. Now, also in the chemistry type of relationship. Now, chemistry type of relationship, which is also the emotional relationship, it's usually built when there's now a level of trust and personal bond between you and your partner. The chemistry of relationship is that part of you that just wants to see your partner. You just want to hold him. You just want to hear him. You want to hear him whisper something to you. You just want to hug him. You want to see him. It's that craving that people get. Now, people call it falling in love. Like, I'm so in love with him. Now, you have to understand, it's not just falling in love at first sight, like people used to say. Well, I don't know. Well, it's not just about that. Chemistry, intimacy is something that is built with time as a result of trust. I tell you, if you're not happy with your partner and you feel he's cheating on you, or you don't really trust him, you cannot get to this point of intimacy, the chemistry intimacy. Because when there is no trust, there is no passion, there is no love, there is no true love, there is no commitment, then it cannot work. Now, in chemistry relationship, there's this hormone that's usually released, phenylethylamine. You can check it out on Google. It's an hormone that the brain secretes. That's the hormone. That's the drive to see your partner, to hear your partner, and all this. The hormone is the mediator. This particular chemical is also present in chocolates. That's why you see lovers, they always share chocolates and some other things like that. Now, the cognitive or intellectual intimacy. This type of intimacy is it's the point when you start to share your dreams with each other. You share your ideas. You appreciate your similarities. You get to find the similarities between you and your partner, and also appreciate your differences. Now, your partner is different from you. He is a male, you are a female. You don't expect to have everything same. If everything even seems same, you seem, oh, he's my perfect match. We're just same, we're just alike. Something is definitely different, which is the sex. Now, you should learn to be very patient in your relationship for intimacy to be strengthened. You have to know your partner. Now, look for the differences in you, the two of you. Now, make sure you sit and adjust yourselves. Now, appreciate your similarities, the things you share together. You love cartoon. Oh, I love cartoon too. You love pets. I would like to have pets. Oh, I don't like pets. I don't like dog. So if you're the girl, you love dog, he doesn't love dogs, and all those other things. Your compatibility. even your blood compatibility, genotype compatibility. You have to check all these things. That is the social intimacy. Like I said earlier, sharing of your ideas and enjoying your similarities and appreciating your differences. Now, I would like to end here today. I look forward to your comments, your likes, and I would like to learn so much more on this topic, intimacy. And I would like even other viewers out there to also learn some more. Now, please always check out for my other videos, as I will be bringing up more and more interesting topics. I want to thank you all today for staying with me on this show, on this episode on intimacy, and thank you very much for your contributions so far to help this show in becoming a reality. Thank you very much.